Hey, this is Robert Mosley, Underground Connection. We're out here in North Richland Hills, hanging out at the Merry Iguana exotic reptile shop. And who is this?
This is Dewey Manley.
Ricky Bryan.
Shanna.
So, you have exotic reptiles in here.
Yeah.
What do they look like?
They're all different kinds of shapes and forms. Some get up to 18, 19 foot long, snakes, iguanas, everything. Let's go look.
Oh, great. I thought we were just going to have to stand out here. All right, so you deal mostly in iguanas and the type, right?
Yeah, most of the ones that people are mostly familiar with. Here we got two iguanas. This one's 2 years old. It's named Xanax. He's a male. This one's named Bodette. She's almost 3. Their first time to be introduced together and actually bred. She has got some marks on the back of her neck as a result of that breeding, because males tend to grab them by the backs of their necks and hold them down.
Typical mating ritual. That's what I usually do. It's usually not the heat of the moment until my teeth have sunk into the girl. And this one up here is a baby?
Right. This is
how old
about
is he?
about 3 months old.
3 months. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
So how big do these guys actually get?
These guys will get upwards of 6 feet long. The females get a little bit smaller than the male. As you can see here, since this guy is 2 years and this guy is 3 years, the males will get up to 6 feet long. These will stay relatively small, around 4.5 to 5 feet long.
That's pretty cool. Let's check out some of that other weird stuff.
This might appear to be Egyptian roadkill. It's not. It's Gypticus uromastix. It's asleep right now. Their body is really flat at this point in time. He's on top of a heated rock. He's trying to soak up all the heat he can. Their natural defense mechanism is this tail that resembles a pineapple. When you touch them when they're asleep, usually they'll get a pretty bad reaction. This one is generally really tame. She's not a slapper. You can wake her up, and they're very docile lizards. Their body is that flat so they can crawl into small crevices and inflate themselves, which at that point in time they're so strong you can't pull them out, and they'll just sit there and whip you with their tail. This guy over here they'll whip you just about like that, and when they do, it can be quite painful. Like I said, the texture of this tail is just about like a pineapple, and they are very, very powerful. He's not got too many colors. We call this guy Tio. He's got a yin-yang on his back. They're a very docile lizard. Very good pets. You can allow them to roam freely around your house. There again, the tail on these guys can be quite painful, but they hardly ever use it unless you're just waking them up, and then they'll give you a good smashing. Let's see, what he's got on him back there this is a Spinytailed Iguana. He's in the same general family as your green iguana, but instead this one has more of a thicker, more spiny tail to it. They're just as calm as the regular iguanas, act just the same. Their head structure's a little bit different. One thing that's different about this iguana is it's more carnivorous than your usual iguanas. These will eat pinky mice a lot more than a regular iguana seems to take them. They're a pretty cool lizard to have as a pet. They don't get quite as big as the green iguana, so for those of you thinking about an iguana and worried about the size problem, this is about as big as this guy will get. So you might want to think about the spiny tail. They're comparable in price. They're about the same price as a regular green iguana. Their temperaments are the same. This one's acting a little crazy right now. But he's just putting on a show for you today. We'll bring him back to the studio sometime and let you play with him when he's settled down a little bit more.
Okay, very interesting. What do we have here, Dewey?
This is a Camellia caliptratus, commonly known as a veiled chameleon. This is a male form of one. He kind of looks like a cone head, and his head will, that cascade or veil on top of his head will actually continue to grow. He's about 1/3 grown right now. They're from Saudi Arabia. They've just been in the pet trade for the last few years, and they're starting to be more and more common now. Another victory for the captive propagator here. That's one more species that looks like will be saved from extinction. They make pretty neat pets. Once you get them acclimated to your house, you can actually feed them from your hands. Yeah.
I notice he's got the separate eyes look in every direction. He's got like a
yes,
really strange looking
yeah.
little
Their
paw
head
there.
is, their brain is divided into left and right brain that it can actually work independently. They're one of the very few, if only, animal that can see 360 degrees for the reptiles constantly. Their eyes can move in either direction. They're both very voluntary.
They never miss a beat.
Right.
So they would make perfect babysitters.
Yeah. You can. They can literally cover their butt. They can literally cover their butt and eat their prey at the same time. One eye backwards and one eye forwards. You know.
That's pretty interesting. They move pretty slow.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of like a sloth or koala, the way they move.
Yeah, that's all for camouflage. They have really no defense other than a nice hiss.
So these guys change colors, right?
Right. They change very vivid colors. The high veil on his head is actually for a snake that's in the area.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he can't fit. The snake can't fit his mouth over his head. Therefore, he doesn't try to eat this species. So it's an evolutionary process that.
I bet that comes in handy.
Right.
So their permanent color pretty much determines on the environment they're raised in. Is that right?
Environment, how they're actually feeling. It's more of a language than it is an actual camouflage. It works as both, but depending on how he's feeling is going to be his colors, you know.
Okay. Let's see if we can get him to eat.
Okay. As you can see, both eyes will focus, and he'll load his tongue and just pop it right out of your hand.
Wow.
Make a pretty interesting pet.
Did you get that good?
It makes a hot date.
Yeah.
Want to get another shot?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
This is a Jackson's chameleon from Madagascar.
Looks kind of like a triceratops kind of looking thing there.
Yeah.
He's pretty excited. What's with the mouth thing there? Is he?
It's a defense. They usually, when they get scared, they'll open their mouth and hiss.
That's pretty darn neat. Should I hold him?
About 1/3.
Wow. This is pretty cool. Look at him go. Are you still going? He's looking like he's ready to bolt.
These you can have in an artificial tree in your house. You don't even really need a cage for them. They just live up in the artificial tree.
Now, is this horn a real horn, or is it just like a little?
Yeah, it's a real horn.
Is it real solid? Will they use that to butt
Yeah.
you with, or?
No, they don't do that except for with other male Jackson chameleons.
Now, will these
It's
will these
attested.
try and whip you with their tail like a?
No.
No. So these pretty docile little.
Yeah, very.
These. I love his little claws. That's so cool. The way I've never seen any creature with like two set. It's like live long and prosper kind of. You know, the Vulcan deal. He's pretty impressed with that corny joke.
Too bad he
There
won't
it
open his
is.
mouth again.
I wish we had another camera to take a picture of that. There, you got a close-up of
As close as you can get.
Chameleon gonets.
Hold him up to the lens now. His mouth is still open.
So this little dude here, he's a panther chameleon?
Yes, they're from the Madagascar region also. And
Any particular reason they're called panthers?
yeah, 'cause they're usually pretty mean, but if they're captive bred and long-term captive, they're usually pretty nice.
So they have pretty much all the same characteristics as your average chameleon is.
Yeah,
Exception.
yeah, except they get a little bit bigger. They get up to about 20 inches or so.
That's cool. Doesn't look like he's smiling.
Mm-mm. Crocodile tears.
That.
Why is his mouth open?
Why is his mouth open?
Yeah.
He's probably mad that I'm holding him. These things can be tame. It looks like I picked the one up that might not be completely tame. Out of 6 in the tank, I've seen to
It
grab
just
the
keeps
mean
getting
one.
bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I noticed that his mouth is sealed on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. It's like there's no,
Esophagus
yeah, he's just,
closed up.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a bad date.
Yeah. He
No throat and a lot of teeth.
Yeah, he generally wants to thrash his opponents before he starts swallowing him. It is a sealed mouth. Generally, when they go after their prey, lunge for it, they close up their mouth so the water doesn't fill up their stomach, and they got a stomach full of water when they're grasping their prey and trying to eat it. So they'll close up their mouths.
So are caiman crocodiles legal to own in the city limits?
Yes, you need to check with your particular city before you purchase one of these to see if they are legal to house at your house.
How big will this little guy get?
This guy can get 6 to 8 feet long with the proper care and size cage requirements.
Too close to this little, you might attack my nipple or something. So how long will it take for this guy to get about full grown?
It takes a good 4 to 5 years for them to get really good and solid in their weight and how large they are.
And so, will these normally grow full grown in captivity, or do they usually?
They tend to be a little bit smaller because people don't have quite the requirements that they need for housing. They generally stay a little smaller, about in the 5 to 6 foot range.
So these guys eat, is there like a crocodile Purina chow, or is
No,
there,
they eat pinky mice and regular mice and
small
nipples and all kinds of stuff.
free piercings?
Yeah, free piercings here on Sundays.
If I flushed him down the toilet, would he grow to, kill people in the sewer? Or?
No, that's a total fallacy tale. That's not true at all. I doubt if he'd make it past down to your local sewer creek.
Probably drowned.
Yeah, more than likely would drown or get stuck in a pipe. Drowning's more likely to occur.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is this one of your babies?
No, this is Dewey's, but she's one of my favorites. Her name is Lexus. She's a Burmese python.
I don't like the way she's looking at me. She's really interested in me.
Yeah. Looks like it.
Oh, that's pretty. How old is this? How old is this little girl here?
She's
girl.
about 2.5 years old.
2.5 years old.
Yeah,
Jeez.
she'll get up to about 20 feet.
God, that is a big snake.
Yeah.
That is.
Like I said, she'll get up to about 20 feet.
Now, is this one for sale, or is this just for looks at the shop?
No, this one is for sale, but she may end up having some eggs in her.
Oh, really? She's pregnant?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a bonus package, wouldn't you think? You get,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It'd
kind of
probably-
like opening a box of cereal. You don't know what prize you'll get.
It'd probably sell for a lot more.
Okay. Well, I noticed you guys are into the reggae thing. You got the Bob Marley poster. What a coincidence. Let's check out some new Dred Zeppelin, Underground Connection. Well, this is the Merry Iguana, so we concentrate mostly on iguanas. This one's a baby.
Yeah, it's probably about 2 to 3 months old. It's very tame, as you can tell. It's not trying to run away. It's just trying to crawl up my shirt, probably to the top of my head. They can grow up to 5 to 6 feet in length, and they get a pretty different They can be green, or they can have stripes of orange, turquoise, white. They vary in color sometimes, but they're regular green iguanas.
So, and these just eat lettuce and...
They eat certain types of lettuce. There's a lot of people that are out there that think that you can feed them dog food or that you can feed them iceberg lettuce. There's certain kinds of vegetables that are best for them, like romaine lettuce, certain types of mustard greens, certain fruits. We have an escapee over here trying to get out. Trying to climb the walls. Yeah, you want to watch the tail because... Sorry, and the mic. Yeah, their tails can drop, so you need to be careful.
Iguana cragging.
You don't want to drop their tails, so you need to be careful and not pick them up by the tail at any time. But they're very tame. You want to make sure that you get a good iguana, but when you buy it, that's nice and tame. It's healthy. It's got a good belly on it.
I know you want to stay away from some of the imported flea market $10 kind.
We recommend that you do. You don't know exactly where they're coming from. They can have parasites if they're imported usually. Ours are farm raised. They're captive bred. They're farm raised. They're very tame, as you can tell. You can't spook them. You can't scare them away for nothing.
He's really interested in me.
Found a new friend.
He's really interested in me.
Yeah.
Wow, look at him. That's really cool. I have an iguana at home, but I made the mistake of buying one out at like Trader's Village, and it was like a $10 special, and he's just a jerk. But these guys right here they really have so much more personality. Are these bred in America, or are they imported?
They are not imported. We don't sell anything that's imported. Everything we sell is captive born.
Cool. Right now, these little guys are called Anoles.
Yes.
I know that they've been called chameleons.
Yeah, but that's just because they change color. But
Yeah, but they're really
they're
are.
really not. They're Anoles.
Now these Anoles are becoming not only fun to have and play with, but are becoming a fashion trend. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, you can wear them as earrings.
Let's check this out. Now their bite isn't too painful. Get a close up of that. That's just this is the new thing. That is the coolest thing about it. Now how long will he cling on to your ear like that?
Depending on how mad I get him before I put him on, it really depends.
You don't want to go to a concert. The only thing about these earrings is you have to feed them every day.
Yeah, they're a little bit more of a hassle than regular earrings.
He's starting to go to sleep. He's just clinging on. Get Dewey down here. He thinks it's great.
Put it on her.
No.
See how she likes it.
It's kind of hard to get him off, is it? Oh, wait. We got him.
Or the nose ring. Or you can go for the nipple if you want.
Look, this is Underground Connection. Most of the people, have them. I know that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
I can see the tear welling up in your eye. Don't lie. We'll get a nipple ring here. Try the belly button. That's all we were filming. Into S&M, are we?
Yeah.
This is gonna be the next thing. You're gonna go into various porno shops, and right next to the leather whips, you're gonna have Anoles.
You can chain them up too. There's a chain connecting to their tails, so that if they do decide to let go, the other ones that are latched on up higher will stay on.
That's pretty amazing. It never ceases to amaze me. The fun you can have playing with the minds of small, innocent little.
They're like $3.
Oh, those are $3 a piece. So that is about the price of your average, cheap earring.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Claire's
No, we're only kidding. We don't recommend you going to concerts and wearing lizards on your body, but just around the house, that's fine. So, the Anole, $3. Oh, what is this?
It's a snowcorn.
This is a snow corn.
Yeah, it's a snowcorn snake. It's a newborn. It's not that old. They can grow up to 4 to 6 feet.
I know you were repeatedly asked this question. The first thing that people want to ask if they don't know anything about a snake is this poisonous?
No, it is not poisonous.
How can you? Are poisonous snakes legal to own? Or?
No, they are not legal to sell. I don't know exactly what the laws are if you want to go out and catch your own poisonous snake. But
So if someone comes into a pet shop, they can assume that everything in there is pretty much non-poisonous.
that is correct. Everything is non-venomous. It
It
doesn't
might
mean
bu-
that everything might not bite you. There are animals that will bite you, but this usually is not one of them. It's one of the more tame snakes, kind of like the ball python. It's usually what people begin with when they begin to get into snakes, is a corn snake or a ball python.
And how big will this little guy get?
It can get up to 6 feet around there, and right now it's eating pinky mice.
That'll eat a pinky mice?
That will eat a pinky mouse. It did today.
Wow.
Fed it myself.
It's in there
Can we
somewhere.
still see it?
A baby panther chameleon?
Yes, that's correct. It is approximately about a month old.
Boy, that is really small. It's hard to believe that he gets as big. How long does it take him to get as big as his big brother over there?
Well, it takes them quite, they don't grow that rapidly. Right now they're eating small crickets, about a week old to 2 week old crickets. You got to mist them frequently, make sure they have lots of ventilation. They probably take, I'd say, probably on average about 2 to 3 years to get full size.
That is amazing. He is really cute. He has full function of everything too.
Yes,
he's
he
a little
does.
bit uncoordinated, but
Oh, he can see all around him. He can see.
he's looking
what's
at you
coming.
and he's looking at the camera. But
That's
he's
right.
ignoring me. I get that a lot.
They have
Supposed
a
to be a female.
no. Actually, this is a male panther. They've got a really cute tail. Their tail can just curl up like a little seahorse.
Yeah, it is.
It's
That's,
curling up.
it's
They
just
usually
rolling
sleep
up.
that
They
way.
just
It
tuck it.
rolls
They just
right
tuck
out.
it away, and it's just packed for the evening. Wow, that is amazing.
They make really good pets as long as you have the proper food and nutrition and lighting requirements and cage requirements. They make really good pets.
And they're ready to be taken home at this young. Huh?
That is correct. They could go home.
So these are pretty easy to take care of.
Oh,
They
yeah.
seem to
Just the right lighting, the right temperature, and the right amount of food.
keep them warm and feed them, and they'll live.
And plenty of care. It just blinked at me. Freaking rabbit.
So what is this little?
This is a Solomon Island tree skink. They're one of the animals that are going to slowly get on the endangered list, I do believe. They only have 1 to 2 offspring a year. As you can see, he's got a prehensile tail. He can,
Smacking there.
yeah, he's like an opossum. He can grab anything he wants to with a tail. It's wrap around it. They can hang upside down from trees by their tail. They're
Looks a lot
really
like,
very powerful animals.
Looks like an alien. Looks a lot like those. What are those? The grays or whatever. So these are pretty nice.
Yeah.
They're not very mean.
They're generally nocturnal. They're
It's kind of a Klingon looking.
yeah.
Something out of Star Trek, definitely.
Yeah, and there again, these are one of the animals that I think will slowly get on the endangered list, since they don't have as many young as most of the other reptiles.
So this would be a pretty valuable pet to have.
Right.
Say you had one.
Right. If you had a male and a female, you can expect 1 to 2 babies per year.
Which would probably be pretty profitable. Too.
Right. Well,
What
actually, these aren't as profitable as some of the other reptiles for the fact that they only have 1 or 2 babies per year. But they're a good shoulder pet. They just hang on your shoulder.
And this is about as big as this guy will get? Or?
Yeah, he's about full grown.
How long does it take him to get this size?
Roughly a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, really?
This guy's right at 2 years old. And he's about to shed.
So is he vegetarian?
Yeah, he's vegetarian only. He's not omnivorous at all.
Okay. That's what does one of these little guys run for? You got him on sale?
This little guy here is running for about $200.
Well, that's not too
generally,
bad
yeah.
for a full-grown.
Right, smaller ones will run a little bit cheaper, probably around $150.
He's acting like he's gonna bite me or something.
Nah, I think he wants you to tickle him under his chin.
Yeah, you're funny. You're funny. Tickle him under my. Ah!
I almost tried getting you a good video shot in there, people.
Yeah, he's real funny. Here, there's something I've always wanted. Can I hold him?
Sure.
Here, you might have to. Gonna freak out on me.
He's very strong.
No kidding. Huh? Well, he's clawing your back, so I don't care. Ow. Yeah, strong. No kidding. I always wanted to do this. This is Sylvester Stallone in the movie Aliens. Alien! Alien! No. He's clawing me. Get him off me. Get this thing off. Call him Freddy Krueger. Jesus Christ.
He likes you.
God.
It's slow.
Get him off, man. This is God.
It's slow. Wait a minute, I didn't get a close up.
Screw the close-up.
Here, this is a common constrictor, a boa constrictor. This is actually a Colombian red-tailed boa. That was Ricky's hand. As you can see, the snake simply wraps up the boa, holds on to it. It positions its mouth away from its body so the rat can't bite it. Sometimes that isn't always effective. If we got a bitey rat, we'll thump it on the head. The snake will keep continuing to squeeze as he breathes. Every time he takes a breath, the snake squeezes just a little bit harder until it doesn't have any air left at all, and then at that point in time it slowly starts to dislocate its jaws and swallow it. The whole thing takes about 15 to 20 minutes. The larger snakes, it takes about an hour to get a normal-sized rabbit down. This rat is just more or less a snack for this guy. He could probably eat 2 of these at a sitting with no problems. They eat about, we keep them on cycles of once a week to a week and a half, a small meal or 2. These things go for right about $200 here. They're more your normal boa constrictor. They're very tame. You don't need to... Well, always when you're messing with wildlife, you want to be careful because you don't know at what time they can attack you. They can just do it out of the blue. It always seems like school functions are a good place. Thousands of screaming kids is always nice. There, looks like he's already killed this rat, and he's making it let go, as you can see. He's gonna locate the rat's head first off. Once he locates the head, he'll start swallowing. He dislocates its jaws, whereas gives the impression that the rat actually stands still and the snake slides his body over the rat. He's slowly searching all over the rat's body for that head. Ah, hey dear. What's happening, baby?
Kiss before dinner. He's kissing the snake.
French
An
kiss.
open mouth kiss, my God. Listen to that.
No, little Susie, it's just a kiss. He's merely trying to help the rat. The rat's cold.
How can we laugh at a time like this?
Laughing down. Hey. To the Santa Claus, Panther Chameleon.
Does he have that hood in his mouth? Yeah. Now, if you'll notice, once a snake starts working on this rat, he'll kind of rock left to right with his head. And what he's doing is dislocating his jaws and sinking his teeth into one side of the rat and slowly working it back down into his throat and into his stomach. These things have very vicious teeth, so you don't often get bit, but once you do, you'll pretty much know to stay a lot more cautious next time, because when they get you, it does bite hard. And if you do try to jerk away from it, their teeth are angled back slightly in their heads. So when they grab their prey, they can hang on to them much better. So if you do get bit by a snake, don't yank your hand away from the snake. That's the worst possible thing you can do. These snakes can eat animals that are up to 4 or 5 times the diameter of their body. They have very huge mouths. So, let's say in the wild, if it's not uncommon for a 15-foot anaconda to suck down about a 5 to 8 foot caiman. Seen it on Discovery last week. It happens. These guys are really, really not as evil as they seem. They make really good pets. Great to show the women. They like this kind of stuff.
Gives them tips and pointers.
Right, right. Of course, this one you can tell here is a female.
Looks like, so is there any advice you would give to some perverted young gentlemen out there about these snakes? Do's and don'ts?
Yeah.
For followers of bestiality.
Yeah. You don't want to perform any sexual acts with these snakes. They do get stuck in places, so I've heard, but I've never experienced it personally and hope I never have to.
Because I'm sure the question has been asked, is there a proper snake lubrication? Would, Vaseline irritate the skin of the snake?
Yeah, olive oil is recommended. Not only does it help in lubrication, it helps with mites. Which can be worse than crabs, by the way. They're fellow burrower arachnid type things.
Sounds like a jet plane taking off.
That's one of the main defenses.
Is it normally that puffed up?
Yeah.
Do what?
I said it'll get a little bit more puffier if Ricky gets his finger in his mouth.
So what is this we're looking at here?
This is a Pac-Man frog, Argentine horned toad, or sometimes they call them pixie frogs. There's several different names.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. If it's called a Pac-Man frog, it's obviously been around longer than Pac-Man has. Since Pac-Man's only been around since '83. So what'd they call him before Pac-Man?
Argentine pixie frogs.
It's a fat looking. You know what it looks like? It looks like a scrotum sack full. It's darn nasty.
Yeah.
It gets bigger than that. It gets up to about the size of a dinner plate.
Oh my God! Little microwave treat. Well, what is one of these guys? What do these guys run for?
Around $50 for about this size. 30 for a smaller, about the size of a $50.
Wow. They crickets?
Crickets. He eats mice right now. He'll eat them whole. And
Mice,
he's still
small children.
right. He's still small too. He's got about 6 more inches of diameter
Small,
to get. Yeah.
Scary looking thing. So what is this?
This is an African side-neck turtle. As its name implies, it comes from Africa, and its neck kind of comes out sideways. He's pretty googly looking in the face. He's got very large eyes for a turtle. It almost looks like he's smiling and laughing all the time, but maybe he is. He's not worried about any caimans or crocodiles eating him at this point in time, so he might be pretty happy in there.
Okay. So these are baby ball pythons?
Yeah, they're a good starter snake. They're very calm, very gentle. They hardly ever bite. These are approximately a couple weeks old. There's one guy here that's what we refer to as in the blue. As you can see, his eyes opposed to this other one's eyes. You notice his are more blue. That means he's going to start shedding here pretty soon, probably the first shed of its life. These are, like I said, these are really cheap and great starter pets. If you can get one of these to live long and prosperous, then you can pretty much do the same with a Burmese python or a red-tailed boa.
You know, it's quite a, I know everybody's heard this on Johnny Carson or by various different reptile people, but they really appear to be and almost feel like they're wet or slimy, but they really aren't. That's
No.
just a
Right, it's just a...
the
They're
way
not
their scales
right.
Because a lot of people think, you know, when they see a snake, they think that it's slimy or it's wet or because of its shininess. It's
No, these guys are just real clean and shiny. They're not wet at all, but if you rub your finger reverse-wise on their scale, they're not quite as smooth as if you're going the other way. That's part of the way the snake will move through a brush rather quickly. Not this particular snake. I
so
don't
these are
think they
pretty
do.
clean, easy to take care of.
Oh yeah. These are one of the best starter snakes there is if you're getting into boas or pythons. Generally, these guys will stop eating at least once in their lifetime for anywhere from 2 months to, I've heard, up to 18 months. And they're very fat, so they can store their body fat and actually live off that. But if you have a ball python that's not eating, there's several ways you can trick it into eating. But generally, they have no problem, especially captive-born babies like these guys.
He's completely looking at me no matter what.
Oh, yeah. He's
Totally interested.
Right. This is why they call them ball pythons. They literally roll themselves into little balls.
Did you see the movie V? I'm only kidding. We'll start over.
All right.
Points that you want to make before we leave?
Yes, deforestation. It's a major problem to both reptiles and to humans. The reptiles aren't the criminals, the humans are in this world right now. These guys are just innocent. They're being killed. Their homes are being taken away from them. I'm here trying to get them out in the public so they can continue after generation and generation. Start letting people breed them out into the general public, because that's the only way your kids are going to see some of this stuff.
A lot of these wouldn't even exist if they hadn't been bred.
Right. There's several out on the market today that you can't hardly find in the wild, or they quit exporting them from their company because they're now on the endangered list, yes.
He's a special guy. So if somebody wants to come down to the Merry Iguana, how do they get out here to Fort Worth?
Actually, we're in North Richland Hills. We're on Roof Snow, just north of Loop 820, about 400 yards north of Loop 820 on the east-hand side. It's 5208 Roof Snow Drive, and phone number is Metro 817-498-1495. And if you don't get a reptile from me, get it from somebody else and take good care of it, because we want these guys to last a long time and be around a long time so future generations can enjoy them.
All right, this is Robert Mosley with Underground Connection.